STEM careers bring important knowledge, skill set, and ideas to engineering businesses. And it's smart for companies to foster gender equality and diversity in their hiring practices. Here's what you need to know about how women in STEM careers can make your engineering business grow stronger. Educating, training, and hiring more women and other underrepresented groups in STEM can also lead to better scientific and financial outcomes. This is because increasing diversity in the workforce means gaining a variety of perspectives and ideas which can give organizations a competitive edge. Let me invite now our panelists for this panel discussion. I first invite Mr. Yogesh Mishra, Vice President, Thomas Assessment and President, DMA. Yogesh is Head of Consulting Practice for Thomas Assessments, over 2 decades of consulting experience at the highest level with governments, Fortune 500, large, small, and family-managed companies in SAARC region. He consults on issues related to capacity building, leadership, development, coaching, talent management, organization design, behavioral assessments, competency mapping, assessment center, 360-degree team analysis, employee liability. It seems he has a 360-degree overview of everything when it comes to hiring and knowing the exact potential. Let me welcome Mr. Yogesh Mishra onto the dais. Our next panelist, Ms. Samriti Malhotra, Global HR Head, Denave. Am I pronouncing the name right? Denave. She is Senior Human Resource Leader with extensive experience of working with global leaders in fast-paced growth environment in diverse sectors such as ITES, banking, telecom, professional services, and manufacturing. Let me welcome on the dais Ms. Samriti Malhotra. And our third panelist for this session, Dr. Rajneesh Talwar, Dean, DICE Chitkara University. DICE is a department which is committed to building strong learning and innovation culture in the organization. He is a professional with strong educational background and a focus on practical learning with national, international level of projects and hackathons. Is Dr. Rajneesh Talwar in? So we would start the session, and to moderate the session, I would now like to invite Sunil Rajguru, editor, Dataquest, PCQuest, and CiOL. Let me welcome Sunil on stage. Happy to invite another woman to the panel, Dr. Deepa Bajaj, Dean of, Dr. Deepa Gupta, Dean of GL Bajaj. Thank you.
So it's great to have you here to discuss this very important topic. And actually we're planning to have 3 to 4 women, but you know, there's some flight cancellations have taken place, some illness in the air and all. So anyway, apologies for that. So I'll just get to it straight away. You know, when you talk of STEM and women, probably India is the only success story, right? If you look the world over, nobody has that many women in STEM as India has. In fact, I've been, from the 80s, I've been following, you know, 10, 20, 30. We are touching like 40% women in STEM. So I would just like to know what is it that we are doing right? Why, you know, girls are outshining the boys, and what lessons are there for the rest of the world? Because even the West does not boast of such. Developed countries do not boast of such figures. So if, I think we can go in any order, whoever has an insight first. Yeah.
Hi everybody. So thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here and to address this whole group. And when we talk about women in STEM, whilst Sunil said that it's in India we're doing approximately 50% as women in STEM. Unfortunately, I don't see that in this group. So if I look at it, we have very few number of women over here. So that showcases the challenge that we are still mitigating. When we talk about women in STEM, yes, India is doing much better as compared to the whole world. Worldwide, if we look at it, there are near about 18% women who pick up the field of STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. But when we look at India, over the last few years, this has really grown really fast, wherein women have come forward and they've taken, they participated in STEM, and they're doing extremely well. And I was also going through certain figures on the internet, which says that women, when they get into the field of STEM, they rise to the mid-level positions really fast. And the reason and the rationale, when I look at that, why is it so? So there are certain inherent qualities that women come along with. Women are very, very inquisitive by nature, so that really helps in the field of research, isn't it? Women will do the complete root cause analysis, and they have this inherent strength to stitch certain challenges, the task that you give them, the project that you give them. They take the complete accountability and they stitch it from end to end. And nothing against men, I must say. They're equally competent, but why we are talking about women over here is because when we look at this percentage ratio, when we look at the opportunities, when we look at the patriarchal thought process that has been set in the society, and which could be better in the cities, but believe you me, it is still the same when you go to rural India. These are the challenges that we are trying to overcome, and we are trying to bring in more women in STEM field so that they have the professions in research. They can contribute to the fields of artificial intelligence that we are talking about. And yeah, looking forward to that. And for women, for India, it's much better, I must say. And the government has also taken a number of initiatives, not only limiting it to the city, but to the rural India, like Vigyan Jyoti. Then Gati is another initiative which encourages the women or the girls to come forward and take up the subjects and the career movements and options in STEM, rather than limiting it only to the social sciences. So that's some bit from my side. Thank you. I would like to give the opportunity to my fellow panelists to share their thought process. Thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope I'm audible to at the back also. So let me introduce me first. I'm Dr. Deepa Gupta. I'm working as a professor and dean in GL Bajaj Institute of Management, and I'm so glad that Dataquest has roped me into this esteemed panel. And the topic of this panel discussion is very close to my heart. Let me start with some statistics. You know, there was a time in IITs when the percentage, the ratio of women into various streams of BTech was 10%, 12%, 17%. But now this year, I'm glad to inform you all that this has reached to 50-50. So now the population, the girl population into different IITs has reached to 50-50, and gradually I hope that in IIMS also, still IIMS are lagging behind. We have around 20 to 23% of girl students over there. So now with this hope, because the invent of new education policy, which has a lot of emphasis on from fear to freedom. The whole education policy is pushing a lot of emphasis on earning the credits. Involvement of girls and boys both equally. I hope in the coming 2 or 3 years we would see the girl participation into each and every area in more and more. And it is very much visible. I'm so glad that Smriti has for setting the tone into the right direction. Yes, we can see there are some inherent qualities into women, and that makes them different from others. So, I really support this whole concept that yes, if the involvement of women into the science, technology, and the mathematics area will increase, then surely the world will see the great change. Thank you so much.
What is your source of improvement of 50% in the IIT?
It is, sir, because of the superannuated ratio has increased. So now in IIT Bombay it has reached to 50-50 ratio this year.
Sharma ji, let me also speak. Hai na? So thank you. Like the way I said, I'm glad I'm sitting on the panel. So my friend Sunil's question was, what makes women special? So I'll confess and give a background. So I've got 2 sisters, and both of them are in STEM. They did the PhD, etc. So right from the childhood, I was told there are only 2 types of girls: good and very good, अच्छी और बहुत अच्छी. So so I had surrendered long time back, saying that girls are superior. मेरी बहनें मेरे से ज़्यादा intelligent है. So those things. So that's number 1. No, other thing is, when you look at historically, so, I've looked at it, India is a very diverse country, and as a consultant, I can, like lawyers, defend it on both ends. But when you look at it historically, who's Saraswati? Yeah, when you say learning, Saraswati is who? It's female. So in India, knowledge, etc., we have never had this kind of what is there in that Anglo-Saxon society where women were oppressed. We may have different systems, but women have always been encouraged in India to study. Now, if you look at it, how many of you know of who Kamal Ranadive was? Anybody has heard of her? No, not. So she was the one. She did pioneering work. She was born in 1912. Did work with Pune University and found research between viruses and cancer. In fact, she was the first one who said that breast cancer can probably be related to your genes and whether it runs in the family. Something which is very obvious now. I'm just saying that I'm sure all of you have seen that Mars mission. You saw that image of all women sari clad in their Kanjivaram saris with flower. So what is it? So what we are saying is I agree with you fully that women in India have done well. They have done well because education in India. So I also agree there are pockets where women are oppressed, but we have had systems where we have encouraged women to study. And even otherwise, science STEM as a subject requires concentration. It requires analytical ability. And in a way, the kind of background that we have, girls normally tend to be if you look at in the class also, traditionally they were the ones who were the studious variety, who would follow what the teachers were saying. So they had a natural advantage. So, and I agree with you, a couple of things that while enrollment of women in engineering colleges has increased, unfortunately, sitting on the other side, I work in assessments, and we have seen that as you move up in higher education, in PhDs, their percentage drops precipitously, number one. Second is that in terms of the, when you look at science, STEM, science, yes, medical field, yes, they are there. Nursing, they outnumber men. But when you look at hardcore engineering, I have clients where you have women who have joined as GETs. But how many of the general managers do I see in a manufacturing industry? Not many. In fact, I remember we had a client, one of the world's largest IT companies, and they had come to us saying we have an issue in terms of diversity. While at an entry level, the ratio is more or less equal. By the time I am going to them with their first promotion, they are coming and giving me their wedding card. And he said that maximum first child or after the second child, most of these women quit. So there is a dichotomy also. They are women are doing well, they are taking, and we do not have a cultural bias against women in STEM. However, I would say it's still a leaking bucket. Lot of women come into STEM, we attract women in STEM, but do they stay there? Are we able to make use of their expertise? My answer to that is unfortunately not. Thank you.
So, basically, thanks for the introduction. Whatever all of you three said, I'd like to take it like forward. Like if you see, if you look at say 10th standard results and all the science toppers seems to be girls. You get that feeling. But then like you talked of IIT Bombay, it becomes 50-50. IIM, it becomes 20%. And like as you commented, there are very few women. So what happens? So anyway, welcome to Dr. Rajneesh Talwar. So I'll just continue. Yeah. So, so I was just wondering, so if you see, it's like diminishing returns. As if you take like women in STEM 15 years, it's like brilliant. At the age of 25, 35, as you go, so is it because we have to wait for like, say maybe there are some schools, 60% girls are in STEM. Do we have to wait 10, 20 years? Or is it some other issue?
When we look at the toppers as far as 12th grade is concerned, 10th grade is concerned, we see women coming up very, very strongly, securing those top positions. Yes, that absolutely. And as you also rightly said, Yogesh, that when you actually reach the senior leadership level, managerial level, you'll get a number of women doing pretty well in the field of STEM. When we talk about the senior leadership, are there any challenges or are women just giving up these positions? So let me tell you, as you rightly said, that the women will come with their wedding cards. By virtue of the physiological constitution, the way the women have, unfortunately, their bio clock at times conflicts with their career clock. At that point in time, you have to take thought through decisions that what is the priority right now, that is one. But yes, these trends are also changing really fast with the hybrid way of working. Initially, the women or all the employees, they were expected to work from office 5 days, 6 days a week. They had to follow through the complete regime. The flexibilities were not there. During the last 2.5, 3 years, COVID has changed everything. It has changed everything. It has made it possible for all of us to work remotely, work from home, sitting around the beach, still working, sitting at our home working. So remote working is no longer a benefit, I would say. That's the way of working. And that has offered a lot of flexibility to the women at the senior leadership level, to the new mothers, to the women who could be getting married, or new mothers, or for that matter, any other personal exigencies that they have to take care. They're able to cope up, and they're still able to give their 100%. And for women, by virtue of the way they are made up, they would like to give 100%. They'd like to be the perfectionists, be it at home or be it at the professional arena. So that's the reason initially you wouldn't see many women actually coming to the senior leadership positions. Of course, when you reach that position, you have to give more. The time commitment is higher, the accountability becomes higher, you're no longer involved in the transactional work, so the concentration required is higher. And I see in the coming times, we expect to have the leadership, increasing at the, STEM in the organization. So that's the way I look at it, with the flexibility being offered. Thanks.
See, with the changing paradigm, I really want to contribute in the same way that, a lot of advocacy, a lot of awareness needs to be created, and which is happening actually. After the COVID, post-COVID scenario, if we see the involvement of women in each and every area, where we have seen earlier that there was a dropout ratio, or the, quitting from the jobs have increased a lot. But now after the COVID, post-COVID era, we can see that, the involvement of women has increased on a good number. What I feel is, a lot of hand-holding is required in this present scenario. If the boss or the colleague or the fellow workers, if they start hand-holding the women in the right direction, if you see that women is a star, he's a performer, he's actually putting value on the table, then if they create a supporting system, which we always talk about that, in the morning, Kirti madam was saying, human needs to be more human now. So if that approach, that intention will come up, then surely that dropout ratio will reduce, and we will see a change in this scenario.
I would just like to add and give certain benefit to all the men as well. During the COVID, they've equally partnered with women to do the household chores. Initially, the whole responsibility used to lie with women. But COVID changed it big time. Even, I would say for our parents, who come with the thought process that only women are supposed to be taking care of the house. The new generation, of course, is different. They are equally partnering. They're taking 50-50 responsibility with respect to all the areas, be it personal or professional. So definitely a big applause for all the men to be contributing equally and enabling the women to reach out to those top level positions in their career. So thank you.
Certainly. I will also resonate with you, Smriti.
I would like to intervene that already women are in power, whether it's at home, whether it's in office. Like I come from a background where my mother has been principal at a school level, and I am working at Chitkara University where women are already at the top positions. So I don't feel a difference. Already now the men are getting a challenge to prove themselves, because women are already empowered at home and they are empowered at office also. That's really good. So you can clap for all the women colleagues and all the persons out there. And men can't prove themselves at home because cooking is not that easy. But professionally, yes, men have been doing good. But women are equally proving themselves at all stages and at all levels. Thank you.
So, very nice, interesting question, and we got perspectives. So, I'll just give you perspective. So, yes, now we have done a lot of work and we realized that, so you need to look at this problem of why the number of women decrease from a systems viewpoint. We can't look at it in isolation. So, there are multiple reasons. Now, why do women do well in 10th, 12th, etc.? They have role models. My seniors have done well. Now, when we did work with one of our clients, we realized, so there were multiple things. One, they could not see role models at a senior level. People who they could see had done well. Remember, Kiran Bedi was the first IPS officer. Now, nobody even counts the number of IPS women officers you have. Because once you have a success story, others start believing that this can be done. So what they did over there was, they said that, we don't want to lose this talent. So one is obviously giving women flexibility. We need to understand that there are stages in life, phases in life. So having a family, raising kids, having those milestones of exam, etc. will happen in everybody's life. It's like you are driving. You can't drive always at 150 to 200 kilometers. There are times when you'll have to drive on first gear, second gear. As long as you're in the car, it makes sense. So one of the first things that they did was they said, can we identify role models, women within our organization? Because a lot of times these women are silent players. They do well, but nobody knows about them. So make them interact, that's number one. Second is also when you become a mother, there are other challenges in terms of medical body, etc. They said, can we give them inputs in terms of nutrition? I'm just saying that what are the things that organizations can do in terms of nutrition. Third is your body changes. You feel I'm not, glamorous enough to stand up over there, that self-confidence falls down. Giving them coaching, counseling around that. Working on executive presence. Because a lot of times women have an issue over there. Then also in terms of, there are times women need counseling, because what happens is with nuclear families, why is it a lot of women drop out now? And when you look at Indra Nooyi, what did she say? She said, I was able to reach where I reached because I had a wonderful support system. If you have a nuclear family, if you have just husband and wife, and there are, maybe now you have one kid or two kids, and the kids don't want to be with their father, what do you do? Can you say that I leave my kids at home? So obviously it falls on the woman. So they say, as an organization, can we provide some support system? Can we give them counseling? So, there are a whole lot of things that organizations have been doing, but yes, I agree, it's still a long way to go, but we are moving in the right direction. At least, from that time that tum aurat ho, tum nahi kar sakte, at least that particular mentality, I personally believe, has changed.
I have one question.
See, I can't throw the mic at you. So, maybe...
Thank you. First of all, thanks for the wonderful discussions which is going on. And before my question, I would like to add only one point that whatever the things we are discussing, it is proved by psychology and research that woman has a better capacity to use whole brain than men. And but it's not an exaggerated statement, because it is proved that our brain has right and left part, and we knew all that theory, and a woman has the better capacity to use both parts of the brain. That's why they are there where they are. So that is the first aspect. Second, my point to the panel, or question to the panel, is like our focus is for about STEM. What we can see is that I would request you to put your point that why this dropout of women, because our focus of the panel is STEM. So what happens in engineering especially, and in research also, there are 3 branches where women percentage is decreasing very drastically. Nowadays, if you see, most of the girls want to go for computer science, IT, or at the most for electronics and telecommunication. But if we see mechanical, civil, electrical, where the huge number of girls were there earlier, like we always take the example of Sudha Murthy, who was the first employee of Tata Motors on shop floor in 70s, 80s. So that examples we cannot see. So now it's a challenge for, it's a now not only the opportunity, it's a challenge to hold the woman power in the core industry, especially because our panel focus is on STEM. And as far as the research is also concerned, same thing is happening. The number is getting reduced. And so my appeal to put that.
See, please don't mind, but I'll tell you. You have had n number of jokes. You ask all the people. So there is Sharma ji sitting. I think he passed out from Delhi College of Engineering when, sir? 65? 66. So ask him how many women were there in Delhi College of Engineering. Not a single. Exactly. I'll tell you, there's a standard joke when engineers come to MBA colleges. They look like, acha, duniya mein itni ladkiyan bhi hai. Civil, mechanical, once upon a time, did not have one girl in the batch. Now you have women working as engineers on the site. So I personally don't agree with you that the number of women have increased. Yeah, obviously there is a shift that has taken place, and you need to look at it both from male and female. When you look at, is it that males give their first preference to civil engineering or mechanical engineering? I'm sure a lot of you have children.
Sir,
No, exactly. So, that's the whole.
I would add
exactly.
that mechanical civil overall the streams have gone down rather than women or the girl
Woman
child
or
over
men.
there.
Women are opting for town and country planning and everything. It's a very paying job.
Yeah.
So,
And many girl students are already opting for mechanical civil, keeping in view the overall admissions going on. And I had a classical example. We made an electric bike, and that was led by a girl student. So there are like many such options coming up for the girl students. So I think it depends on the parents also and family members, if they allow and they think that yes, their what can do, whether he is a girl or he is a boy or she is a girl, they can participate. So it all depends on the family background and the support system. Otherwise, students take it equally and both are participating.
I want to share a published statistics. Today, the women going out of their state for higher education is 10 times more than men. Indian statistics across states.
Right.
And there is no reason why the woman cannot work on the site. My wife is a civil engineer, and she is there looking after all construction activities of MET, their industry set up at Neemrana, Noida, Rishikesh, and she's working for last more than 12 years with MET,
Big clap for him.
she's a civil
He is
engineer.
providing a support to
It depends
his
upon the
colleague.
support what you give from the family.
Right. So that shift is already there in the society now. Like that thinking has changed drastically, what I believe. And like I can't see anything right from my schooling. There was never a difference between a boy and a girl. Where from I come, like from Punjab, I haven't seen any difference. I only hear that this thing is happening in some of the families, maybe rural background. Otherwise, I have never seen such a difference anywhere.
Delhi, many women are driving e-rickshaw.
Right.
But Delhi government failed to recruit driver participants.
Right.
There's only one woman.
Okay.
Delhi Metro is being, Delhi Metro has lot of women.
Metro has, yeah, metro.
In fact, India has the largest number of women pilots.
Yeah, that is there. Even Air Force has recruited the women cadres over there.
Even DTC buses are driven by the women nowadays.
So you can see already there's a lot of change going on.
Except politics.
No, Jayalalitha has been there, then Mamta is there. So percentage you can say, yeah.
So
And
actually, I think we're running out of time, and I think us men have spoken a lot. So I'll give the last words to Samriti and Dr. Deep. You have heard whatever. Maybe both of you can give a summation.
Yeah, thank you so much. I guess the good part over here is that women empowerment can never be complete without the support of men. So yes, if we really wish to empower our girls, we wish to empower our sisters, wives, partners, it has to be an equal partnership by men also. And of late, there's a lot of change that has come in. And yes, we are pretty protective about our daughters, but then now this gesture is also going to the next step of your partners, your daughter-in-laws, and that's very, very exciting. This last bit I would like to say that it is not about men and women. We all know that each each gender, each person comes with certain unique set of strengths. The success will lie how these strengths can be leveraged and work towards creating success stories. So it has to be done in collaboration with both men and women. Why the focus is more on women? Because if we go by statistics, then women for all these years, the percentage ratio has been less in the organizations. In my organization at Denave, we have near about 35% of women, whereas at my leadership level, it's 50-50. So it's the other way around. At the leadership level, we have 50-50 ratio for men and women. And that's what we aspire for, that in the organization also, we should have that 50-50% partnership, and we're working towards it. As Yogesh said, that we need to create the platform for women. In my organization, we've started an initiative for women empowerment that is called Shine. And we have certain set of themes for sessions, and these sessions are led by the senior leadership team, women. They come, they share their perspectives and how they've navigated through all these challenges to make it at top, to share that perspective with rest of the women. And the response has been huge. The kind of challenges and the way all of us have been able to move forward together as one, we get a lot of good feedback from all these women, how it's going. Yeah, so we're doing our bit, and I'm sure each one of us endeavors to do our bit to bring it to 50-50% with equal partnership. Thank you.
Yes, moving forward, I just wanted to add in that time has gone when we were talking about there should be a requirement to stand he for she. Now the time is also that she should stand for she also. Then only the change, the transformation would come in the society. So if all the men and women, as we know that we are having the equal partnership in each and every role in this whole society to play. And as sir has mentioned in our mythology also, all the three major departments, like the Department of Knowledge has been given to the goddess Saraswati. The Department of Wealth and Prosperity has been given to goddess Lakshmi. And the Department of Power and Strength has been given to Ma Durga. So, in the same way, if our society will also run and we'll break the barriers, we'll, break the stigmas, around us. We support, we create a kind of environment where, holistic environment where everybody is supporting each other. Such situation would not come that, this counterpart is losing or this counterpart is moving ahead. And then only we can, go beyond the boundaries. So this is my take, and thank you so much.
I think that's a great place to end. So I hope next time maybe we can have a full woman moderator and more women here. That would be something.
I'm so glad. I would like to add, I'm so thankful to all the participants and delegates and the senior personalities from the academia and industry that for making this panel discussion so engaging. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone. A big applause for you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Sunil.